Okay, hello everyone. I am Linda Little Bear, and I'm going to let other people introduce themselves.
I'm Rick.
I'm Tony Anthony.
I'm Anna. Sorry.
I knew you'd laugh.
I've done it again. I'm so sorry.
And I'm Dystopian Empire. Hello.
Okay, welcome Yeah, you did good, Dis. Welcome everybody. This is called Consciousness and Spirituality, and it's going to flow into other things too. And the first thing I thought we'd talk about is Christianity and spirituality. We don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt here. We're not putting down any religions or anything, but most people know I'm not a Christian, so when I talk to Christians, I have a hard time. You know, they'll stop at a certain point and tell me one thing. So if I could let Dis, he has explained to me better than any human being on the face of the earth about what he believes has happened with Christianity and their spirituality. And he is a Christian. And Dis, if you would kind of explain how you explained to me, it is beautiful and it flows. And if you would.
Well, that's a big sandwich to bite on.
Yeah.
Thank you. You sure are sweet. Very kind person. Big heart. So I was considering, you know, here we are trying to all reach, you know, our destination. We're trying to commune with the Creator, and we're all trying to do it in the same exact way as someone else done it, you know. And I think each connection, each personal connection is very personal. And yeah, you got to know you got to know the destination. You got to know the name of the person you're calling. But they may have a new number. So, you know, are we working from an old phone book? You know, maybe we need to get a new phone book, or open our minds and our hearts up, and see, you know, see. Oh, this is just it's just. Oh wow, it's been a day. Open ourselves up to new possibilities. I mean,
Do the road map. Tell me about the maps, because that's what got me. You hooked me.
okay, well, we'll get to that just a bit. I will circle around back to that, but I had something that, well, it's
I messed you up.
kind of hard to guide freeform thought. I'm gonna try to get my record back on the groove here. It just occurred to me, you know, I'm the hardest time getting any kind of a connection, and I think a lot of it had to do with my state of mind. You know, that it was all based on fear and hate. You know, hate the devil, fear God. And I got to thinking, you know, my Creator, he loves his creations, doesn't he? So, you know, I got to thinking maybe I'm blocking myself by having this mindset. And, you know, after doing some more reading, of course, I could see that you know, that one mindset was really holding me back. That everything has a purpose and a reason, and some things that are, you know. Well, anyways, I'll get back to the thing. It seems like we're trying to use an old map, you know, to get, you know, to the source, you know, to get, you know, to you know, we have to commune with our Creator to know our Creator, or we do, you know, and here we are, you know, we've got this, you know, we've got the Bible, you know, it's It's got all the names and all the things done, but that's what someone else done. That's how someone else got there, and it's like taking an old map when all the roads are. You're trying to find your way on old roads when the new roads have been built. Maybe those old roads aren't there because that was someone else's path. So
You're doing good.
As I said, I got to thinking, surely, that our Creator loves us. I mean, we're all His children, her children, however you see that, and how can you receive love if you're afraid? How can you how can you understand what motivates evil in the world if all you do is just blindly hate it? You're just, oh well, that's that and that's that, and oh, we hate that. Well, of course you hate it. Of course you hate bad things, but we end up hating the people that are trapped in things, and we end up proselytizing to people that I've already heard thousands of times, and it's just getting in the way of us making a connection with them as other human beings, so that we can understand one another, and together better understand, that we're all seeking similar spiritual ends. We're all seeking enlightenment and power over things that get us down, and to increase positive effect and influence in the world.
Well,
And I'm not really into the doom camp. I'm not in no hurry for the world to end. I think we're stewards of this world. That we're supposed to maintain it for as long as we humanly possibly can. And I see so many people. It's like, oh well, it's coming. I'm like, what are you doing? You've got kids, you've got grandkids. Oh, they'll all go to heaven. Yeah, but what's the point in giving up now? Well, you've already give up. You haven't even begun to fight. I mean, and oh well, there's this is like, well, this ain't the end. I'm like, well, okay, this may not be the end, but it's a gift. Why not treasure it? Why not, preserve it? Why not preserve the good in the world? Why not try to make the world a better place? And make make your life better. Live fuller. Let your light shine. As they say. Let it be a light to other people. The end will come when we give up. That's it. The end will come when we give up, and everybody else giving up around me, and I don't want to give up because I don't think that I should. That just bugs the dickens out of me. It doesn't seem right. Okay, ran over.
Okay, no, you did awesome, and I'm going to mention a couple of things, and then we can move on, because you and I, we kind of come from two separate worlds in a way, yet would you agree that we complement each other by discussing these things?
I think so.
I do too. What would you guys think? Rick, Mac, Anthony, Anna, because each of us are from, believe something different here, and I believe that each culture, now this is what I believe, that we were all put here by a creator of some sort, and not necessarily religion, but more of I was brought up in a very spiritual atmosphere, and everything was based on spirituality and nature, which I guess that's kind of taboo. I don't know why. The earth is living. So to respect the living earth we live on is just the natural thing to do. But don't you think if all cultures could sit around in a circle, we would find out we were more alike than different?
Do you know something? I had a very, very interesting conversation on a radio channel, and there was an Islamic fella on there, there was a Christian woman on there, and there was a Jewish woman on there. And although they all had little disagreements, they all agreed that there was a God, which obviously they're going to do. But in the end, they all kind of realised that actually they all want the same thing. They all want the same thing. Although there's discrepancies in the way that they teach stuff. You know, the Jewish woman said, I can't remember what she said. She said basically the Christianity had been changed. It was more of an indoctrination now. It was more about power. Christianity was more about power now. This was a take on it, you know. But and the Jewish way, I don't know. I really don't know, because I really don't do any kind of religion at all. I'm not religious in any way, shape or form. I don't join clubs, basically. But it was very interesting. It was very interesting to see how the three people in the end all came to the same synopsis on anything, and they all wanted the same thing. But it was, you know, but because of, for me, because of, well, I'm in this club, I'm in this club, I'm in this club, that was what makes us a little bit different, you know. And it was kind of, it was nice, but then sad that actually three people of three different beliefs could actually sit around a table and talk very, very concisely about their beliefs and how they were taught and what they thought about their teachings and their scriptures and what have you, and sort of and actually agreed with each other. But then, you know, they walked out of the room and went back to their clubs, and it, you know, that's the problem. Is it's too much of a club thing for me. It's affiliations. It's all about affiliation. You know, if it was to say there was a God, I'd say it was Mother Nature. Mother Nature's your God. If I was to say there's a God, that's Mother Nature's your God. Really, you know, we are nature. That's what we are. You know, we're all. I mean, we're just top of the heap, basically. We're just top of the pile, and we've abused it. We've totally and utterly abused it. You know, and that's the honest to God truth. And I don't care what all these people say. We've abused it, and we're raping the planet.
Absolutely.
We're raping the planet.
Well, it's really ourselves.
It is, yeah, it is.
Because we come from this.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree.
It is the matrix we come out of. I mean, we have in our bodies the same dirt, you know, that other things have trod upon. We have in us the same water that may have been in the ocean, you know, 1,000,000 years ago. I mean, everything here gets recycled, and the planet is us when it gets right down to it, and every living thing on it is us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we damage ourselves because this is what we're made out of. This is what we cycle out of and back into.
I believe that man thinks he is now the God. That's the problem. I don't think that man actually, I don't say that to people. I believe that the powers that be believe they are the God now. You know.
I would agree with that, and I wish they would fall. The empires have got to fall eventually. Just for my children's children, please let this empire fall and let us go back to the way. As human beings, we have a DNA instinct that tells us that we right from wrong, and it wouldn't take that long for us to weed out the bad characters and go back to that way. All right, I'll let someone else talk, Rick or Anna. What do you think? On religion.
I'm religious. Anthony was talking about naming things. There's a safety in naming something because you can relate to it one way or the other if you define it. I was brought up a Catholic for years and years and years. And it dawned on me one day when I was very young, Jesus and Mary probably don't look the way that we're shown they are. And there's something going on here. So I started looking into it and whatnot, and eventually, over a long time, what happened was one day we moved into a new house. The previous owners had left this little book, this little spiritual book there. And I was only about 14, and I remember sitting down and looking at this, and it was like one line on each page and just a picture. I read it the first time, and I didn't get it. The second time I read it, when I was quiet on my own, it was like, oh my God, I know this. I know what's in this book, and I don't know how the hell I know it. And I got so excited, and I ran down to my mum. I was like, Mum, look at this. She thought it was completely bonkers. She didn't get it. But ever since then, I can't name what I am. I don't want to name what I am, kind of thing. But that makes other people uncomfortable because they can't kind of figure out what I am. This kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just something that's there. But
once there's a label on it, then it becomes fixed.
Yeah,
it isn't allowed to change. That's the problem.
Like that. I don't want a label. I don't want to be labelled. I don't want affiliations with anything. I don't want to be affiliated to anything. I don't need to be affiliated to anything. I don't want to be. You know what I mean? I don't feel the urge to congregate with, apart from maybe a band of musicians, but that's just to make music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? But other than that, I don't really want to be affiliated into some kind of. I don't want to be compartmentalized and indoctrinated by. I'd rather just go out and I mean, it's like, you know, you get this thing about Islam now. I mean, if you go to Spain and look at more culture. More culture built Spain. Spain's got some of the best buildings and Islamic symbolism in the world, but they can, you know, but it's seen as some kind of it's just poured, scorn is poured on it, and you know, hatred, and it's all been twisted, you know, and that's what the problem is certain elements of society twist it, you know. And it shouldn't be about twisting. You should embrace everything. You should embrace everybody's culture. Mm-hmm. It's you know, it's not a bad thing to be different. It's not a bad thing to think something else. But when you start trying to impose them thoughts on people, that's when it becomes wrong. You know what I mean? That's when it is wrong. It's because it's not. Life's not about that. Life's about living and just embracing people and just taking people for who they are. You know what I mean? And I'm not. I mean, I get pure shit because I got some geezer going, a load of Pakistani. You know, he didn't say Pakistani. He said about this Rotherham thing. He said a load of whatevers did this. I said, well, yeah, a load of Pakistani people did do that. But that doesn't mean that everybody from that nation is like that. I mean, you know, the worst thing I think you can do is judge a book by its cover. You know, if you're not even gonna read the pages, what the fuck? How ignorant are you? You know what I mean? What, you just look at the cover and go, oh yeah, there you go, fucking hell, he's a twat. Well, no, you read the pages. Don't you know? Turn the pages and read the pages, and that's the problem. And for me, that's the problem. It's divisive. It's very divisive.
It's much easier to discount something with a quick label than it is to enlighten oneself.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It is.
I want to say something. You brought up Pakistan. My father had passed away, and I had to fly back from Las Vegas to Seattle. And a man and a lady and her son came on, and he was wearing the long kind of gown, and his seat was next to mine. I'm in the back, you know, with the poor people, the 3 seats where everybody's crammed in. And him and his son sat to me next to me, and his wife sitting away. And he was from Pakistan, and he was coming to become a United States citizen. And he was so happy, and his son was so polite. They knew English so well, and I could tell everybody on the plane seemed to be really freaked out. But I like to ask questions, and I actually turned to his wife just because I know a little bit about culture. Is it okay if I asked your husband questions? And she was like, "Sure, go ahead." And he had the Constitution in his hand, and he said it's the greatest document in the world. And he said, and some of you people don't even know it. He said, and people on the airplane are listening to this. And he was talking about our freedoms and stuff, and I thought, gosh, he really doesn't know he's coming to a police state. I mean, seriously. But he wasn't, did I think he was a terrorist? By no means. I thought he was articulate, wanted to live a free life. His child was studying the English language better. The kid actually got to sit in my lap when we got to Washington State, and I was showing him which volcano was which with his mother's permission. And actually I did a video and had his kid in my lap, but it got taken down because I just put Metallica because I didn't want everybody to hear the conversation music, and they took it down. That was silly. But the volcanoes were beautiful, and they were learning from me about volcanoes and things, and they were actually some of the they were intelligent people. Was I afraid of them? No.
That's the problem, you see. They're as indoctrinated as we are.
Mm.
You know, you've got to understand that they get the same kind of indoctrination over there that we get over here. Hate them, hate the West, hate the infidel. We get hate the Islam, hate the Muslim, hate them. You know, it's the same indoctrination coming from the same source. You know what I mean? And people have to just step out of the box and think, hang on. What am I being fed here? How can I judge a nation of people exactly the same? I can't. I can't do that. I can't. That's like me saying I'm not talking to an American because you're all crazy gun-toting motherfuckers. You know what I mean? but it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you know, and I know it. I know in myself, even if I don't speak to an American, that's not true. But you have to make that you have to take that step yourself, and just say, hang on a minute, no, I'm not going to believe you. But the trouble is sometimes the indoctrination is that bad that it's very hard, and that's why that chap's probably come over to your country going, thank fuck, I'm getting out of that shit. But I'm leaping into this shit now. You know what I mean? You go from one part of fight. You go from one hot pan to another, don't you? You know what I mean? Really.
Well, I really hope what happened for him is everything turns out well. In no way did I think he was some kind of terrorist. He just was fleeing an unjust country, and then here he comes here, and maybe he has a little more freedom. But I truly hope that, you know, I hope the guy, they were going to become U.S. citizens. They had been trying to do this for like 15 years or something, and they've had a child now and stuff. I mean, they had always wanted to come here. You know, I hope their life turned out wonderful, because they seem to be, the wife was wonderful. I got to talk to her. When we got off the plane, I was waiting for Kenny. He was stuck in traffic. And I had this conversation. Of course, everybody is standing away from us like I'm some kind of jihadist or something, because this is after September 9/11, you know, so they're thinking, who is this weird woman? But it was like a wonderful, we're all human beings, and we've got to realize that. Yeah. And Rick, you haven't spoken. Now, please.
Oh. Well, I just want to say, like, to you, Rick. Now, I mean, pretty much the divisiveness is going on now with the independence vote. You know what I mean? The British, the English have imposed themselves on you for 400 years. You know, and they're still trying to impose themselves, but you know, and Scottish people need to step back and go, hang on, do I want to be imposed on anymore? Can I not be just run my own shit? I don't hate the English, I don't hate the Scottish, but can we not just run our own shit? You know what I'm saying?
Really? Yeah, I could say we have similar issues like that in the U.S. with states' rights.
Yeah.
It's bizarre the way it's.
I mean, we're all geographically locked together, but at the same time, supposedly the experiment was that each state sort of be its own little country and do its own thing.
Well, I thought that's what it was, yeah.
Well, the thing is with the Scottish independence, I can see it, the bigger picture. The way I see it is that if we get independence, say for instance, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's nothing concrete, but what's likely to happen is we're going to be still controlled through the financial system by the private banking system, i.e.
Well, that's unfortunately we're all going to.
So a lot of people think that because of that we're not going to get full independence, and we're still stuck with the crown as well. So in a way, we're not getting full independence as you know, as such, inverted commas, but we are getting. It's one step, step.
You get the beginnings of it, though, don't you?
Yeah, the beginnings of it. And I mean, if Iceland can get away from the central banking system, which it seems to have done at the moment, and Hungary, and obviously Russia, but then people think Russia are two sides of the same coin, so or one side of the same coin. But there is a start. There is an opportunity, and we can see an opportunity, and I honestly think we're going to get independence, and I think it will favour the powers to be if we did anyway, or they may think it does. But we'll see what happens after that if we do get independence. But even so, well, as I said, we're still going to be controlled in many ways because it's a system, it's a global system. The financial system is their main tool, and it's a global system.
Yeah, we could do without that. I mean, I talk to a lot of people that are into decentralization, and I hear from a lot of people that are into decentralization, and that is so much healthier for the people and the planet when there's more minds working on the problem locally than somebody in a far off marble tower, you know, dictating to the masses. You know, that what do they know? They're not there in it, and they have very little interest in doing anything but keeping their jobs. You know.
Well, it's like you, Rick. Isn't it? It's like you, Rick, in Scotland. Is there a Tory MP in Scotland?
There's one.
Right, so you've got
the one for Westminster. One for
right,
Westminster.
So you've got one Tory MP dictating a nation.
Yeah. See, that's
you know
the thing. That's one side of the argument too that was thrown over by the nationalists, that the people, or what we vote for, we never get.
You don't get. No,
yeah, we don't get it. And without Scotland, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have changed any election since God knows 1930 or whenever. But sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
So how can actually democracy exist?
Well, exactly, and well, I don't think there is a true.
Well, I don't. I'm just going through their motions, mate. Yeah, you know what I mean.
No,
I'm not going through mine. I know there's no democracy, mate. I know it's all bullshit. Yeah. But I'm just going through their motions. You know, how can one MP in a party that's running the government have the say over a country that hasn't even got has one of their constituents? You know what I mean? It's the biggest elephant. It's the biggest elephant in the room, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, the other big elephant is the guy that's running the No campaign, or in charge of it, Alistair Darling. He's not even in government.
Exactly.
Why doesn't I'll tell you why he's there. Well, they're all in the same bed anyway. We know that. It's all a fucking game. All the major, all the politician parties, I think, it's all controlled anyway. But the fact that Darling's there is because they would lose 40 seats straight away if Scotland became independent. It wouldn't matter that much, but they would. Labour would lose 40 MPs. But they're all in the same bed. You would think it would be either David Cameron or Ned Clegg that would be running the No campaign, or debating with Salmond. But it's not. It's Alistair Darling. It's a Labour guy. I mean, they're not even in government. So.
No.
Hey guys, I'm gonna
Sorry,
read
we took that somewhere else. Then sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I wanted to read some of the comments we get here because actually we do learn from the people usually in the chat room more than we learn from each other. If you know what I mean. That's my opinion, just my opinion. Okay, so, well, Rick Mack, you're on here. Thank you. Wannabe 24 Live, and this is a friend of mine, and he's awesome, and I want to thank you for being here. Mule Team 66 told us, hey guys, much love to the whole panel. Truth Seeker's on here also. Now, I'm going to tell you, Anna, Truth Seeker's trying to get to Ireland. So, Derek, thank you for being here. And any questions and stuff, please ask them because, or leave what you think about this. Because this one's going to be kind of a flowing conversation. We might even get into death and what people think about death is. We don't know yet. Bro Lance, thank you, brother. I watched part of yours last night and I fell asleep. Sorry. I had a rough day yesterday, but I love you, brother. Rebecca, good sister, is here. And she's just good folks. Wannabe, he said love, and that's true. And I love you too because that's what everything should be about. You know, if we could live with love instead of hate, you know, it's easier to hate someone than to love someone. Everybody does realize that, right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
that
the
is
thing the baby does when it can move its arms, it knocks things over, but then it learns to build.
That's right. We have Alan Vivekar. I'll say all names wrong. I apologize. I'm going to just call you Alan. And thank you for being here. You're digging the topics. That's cool. And any topics you guys want to talk about, please leave in here. Derek Ward said, good afternoon, you beautiful people. And you're just as beautiful as us. He also said Islam and Christianity equals Ishmael and Isaac. Remember Father Abraham. Well, I don't even want to go on what I was in a Catholic Indian school. A lot of people know that. And what they tried to promote to me about Abraham, I kind of thought he was nuts. He was going to kill his own kid. So, but remarkably, God stepped in. So, no one holds this against me because they would pull out bits and pieces and tell us that of the Old and New Testaments and tell us how awful people we were because we weren't Christians and that we were nature pagan followers and you're evil people. But Jesus liked hanging out with you kind of riff-raff, and then they'd backhand the hell out of you. So, it really made absolutely no sense. So if I say anything offensive, it's just from my experience, which is my knowledge. However, meeting wonderful Christian people, I'm so glad you're not like the nun that I had to deal with. I'd be black and blue right now. And that's what I'm trying to say. We're more alike than we are different. All of us are. I pray for my Christian friends who have been in a lot of friends right now are sick. I'm going to say this, and this isn't even our topic. We have some friends, me and Dis, right now. We had a friend who got out of the hospital and recovered. He's recovering beautifully. And now we have another friend coming in. His wife's in the hospital. I'm not going to mention his name. And his son is in the hospital with this really strange respiratory illness that's going around America right now. And personally, I know 3 people that have got the same thing, and we're mountains apart. I mean, I look at, we have imaginary lines that say these are borders, and I would say borders are mountains and seas and humongous rivers. So they are boundaries away from me, and there's some kind of bad respiratory illness that is really putting people in the hospital. I myself suspect that it is I'm going to go on the conspiracy thing that we try kind of to not go on, but I think it's what they spray. Personally, I think we're being sprayed to death. Not only that, the food is poison, fluoride in the water. So I would wish everybody would send prayers to all those that are getting sick from we don't know what. I mean, so, all right, and now, okay, I went off that, and if anybody in the chat room would like to ask questions or guide our thing, I would love that to happen, but eventually I do want to get into the death with the spirituality, because first I think we're in a spiritual death, but what happens after you die also? And I know Rick Mack has a lot to say on that, and so do I, and this might, and Anna might, and so may Anthony. Anyone want to start with that? No one wants to start.
With death. With death.
Brain fart.
Okay, death. What happens when our body dies? But we're all energy and we're conscious energy. So, Rick, you told a story the other day. Would it bother you to tell it online? When you were on the elevator, you were on the lift, you were going back.
Yeah. Well,
tell people what you did for a living, though. Tell them what you did for a living, so they understand you're around death a lot.
Yeah, well, on life. No, I was a nurse, a registered nurse. No, it's not always a good thing. A lot of people have a big say about big pharma and what have you. Anyway. One of the experiences I had was I was looking after this chap that had been in with us for it's in a general hospital for many, well, 2 years altogether, but just before he died he had been in for maybe about 6 months, and he was dying with cancer. He had died, well, one night I went down for dinner break. It was night shift I was on. So it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was coming back in the lift. Now, he wasn't expected to die that night. They had given him another 2 or 3 months, and he was quite stable. So anyway, I was coming up in the lift, and I could feel a presence in the lift of somebody as if they were standing there, but I couldn't see anybody. And then I heard his voice, now out with my head. It wasn't inside my head. The voice was in the lift, and it was the chap's voice. And he said, but he saw me being startled, obviously, or I jumped back. The lift was still going up to the floor, and I did press a button. I wanted to get out there pretty quick. And he said not to be afraid, and he apologised for startling me. And he said to thank certain people that he got to know while we were caring for him. And said his goodbyes, and the lift opened. I ran out. I stood there for about a few minutes trying to get my head together. I actually went out for a fag, and I came back in, went into the ward, and I thought I was imagining this, so I was going through my head wondering what the hell happened. And right enough, as I came into the ward, the gentleman was in a cubicle, and the nurse that was on with me that night was standing in front of the cubicle with this trolley and stuff, which I knew straight away that he had died. In these days we used to have to dress the bodies for the undertaker when somebody died in hospital. So I went up to the nurse, and she obviously saw me being quite shocked and pale, and she said, what's wrong with you? You look as if you just saw a ghost. I said, no, I heard one. And I told her about it. She believed me, and she was going to get another nurse to go in to attend to the guy. She didn't want me going in there after I had experienced that, but I did, and I felt comfortable with it. And I believe that guy spoke to me at the time of his death. I heard it.
Have you had other experiences like that, Rick? Because I know me and you've discussed this before.
Yeah, not coming to mind. So if you could maybe, I can't remember. The death thing. I mean, I always feel that obviously it's not a nice thing to talk to, and people get upset about it and what have you. But with me, it's just another part of life. And I believe, I don't know, to truth be told, I can't prove it, but I've got this gut feeling that we go back home, wherever home is, and we decide whether we want to go to one reality or another or whatever, and for different reasons. And I think we're here for emotional upbringing, mostly. And that's my belief on the death.
Okay, go ahead. Did Anthony come back in?
Yeah.
Snoople's messing with me.
I was over here about to text you and read our comments.
Yeah, no, I got it, yeah.
Okay. Rick, Rick, I myself talk to my ancestors, and I've learned to certain ancestors not call upon, because when I do call upon, like my grandmother was 100% Native American and insane, and if I was to call upon her, I don't know what the heck could happen. But actually, I did a video one time, and I walked around the yard just talking, doing a video, and I swear I turned the camera on, and it wasn't on. 20 minutes of me babbling around, and so I thought, well, I'll try it one more time, and I said this blessing, and I asked my aunt, because every day I wake up, I say it is a good day to be alive. But it would, if I was to die today, it would still be a good day to die, because I know my connection to my ancestors. I can talk to them. And people say, please, I don't want anybody to say this fallen angels and all that, because why would they guide me so well down the path I go if they're such demonic presences? So, let me at least express how I feel. That this is to the chat room, because I get this sometimes. She's a witch. I'm not a witch. I've just been brought up by people who have done this for thousands of years. Now, I could call upon my aunt and ask her to give me direction, and I guarantee you I get a sign or an answer, or my heart changes everything about me. So I do believe there is a conscious spirit after death. There's something that remains that we can call upon. And you were saying people sometimes call upon Jesus, and you and I in our conversation said, well, it's kind of like you calling upon your ancestors, right?
Yeah, and if the spirit of everyone isn't preserved, then how can we make it to the next level? If our spirits aren't preserved. So it's I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but for me, it's kind of ludicrous to say, oh, well, there's going to be a heaven and an afterlife, and you'll get to be with all your friends and your family and all the good people that you know, and Jesus and God and everything, and all the saints and the prophets and whatnot, and then say, oh, no, you can't talk to your dead family. That's evil, that's demons,
Well, I've got a Christian friend. It's very Bible oriented, and I say that because I know some Christians that aren't, but they believe, what he believes is fallen angels that you're communicating to, same as spiritualists would communicate to. It's fallen angels, and they're
it's more that fear stuff, man. That's just my view on it. I mean, if you're dead in the spirit, then you're not going to be in heaven. So there we go, done and done. But yeah, people get into the fallen angel stuff and the demon stuff, and they're just they let all this scare them. If you truly love your creator and your creator truly loves you, and something comes upon you you don't want, you will be protected if you ask for it. I believe that. I don't think you walk in fear of anything.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Have that perfect love, you should not walk in fear of anything.
I think love's more of an inward thing for me. You have to be able to love yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony, that's dead on.
You know,
Yeah.
if you,
Well,
that's,
there's a lot
that,
of people. There's
for
a lot
me,
of
that's
people
the.
that,
That,
sorry, Tony, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, that's the starting point.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that are that don't know themselves and get into religions and whatever. And it depends how you're brought up too. A lot of people are just brought up, you know. You've heard stories, obviously, about Islam and the kids with the Quran.
My little chat, Russell.
You know, that's all they read all the day. They don't get schooling as such, and it's a Quran they read, and blah blah blah. I think if you grow up like that, then you're going to be what's the word? You're not going to see the full truth, are you?
Well, that's where see, that's what I was saying about the affiliations thing. That's where it all falls apart for me, because you're taught to love something else and not yourself. You know.
You see, I see religion.
I
see religion, and it's there to control, divide a lot of it. It's up to the person.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the state has really infiltrated all of our, especially of course the major religion, Christianity. The state has invaded it. You know, it's completely invaded it, and the worst thing that we ever done was get God involved in the state. Because when God is involved in the state, then the state gets involved in God.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, doesn't it also make them think they're God?
I'm just speaking figuratively.
Yeah. Well, I think they think they're God at this point. You know, they just choose and pick who to kill and who to start wars with and who to rile up. Well, but that's a different topic.
If you look at history and what have you, a lot of the guys that were head of their religions were ruling the show. So, beliefs and what have you. I try and get away with just believing one thing. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do, or just believe in something so strong and say everything else is false. This is the way it is. I think that's a dangerous avenue to go down. Extremists do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if someone has that absolute knowledge, well, that's their absolute knowledge. That's for them. They have the right to determine absolute knowledge for themselves. But I don't think that other people have the right to determine absolute knowledge for others.
See, the big problem too, though, this is as soon as we're born, no matter where we're born, well, I suppose some places would be the same as here, but we're conditioned, aren't we? We're conditioned from the moment we're born, and it's very difficult to free yourself from that conditioning.
Well, it's passed on. I mean, it goes on like that. And I was thinking about what Anthony was saying is like we were discussing earlier that we're supposed to see this group of people over here in this other country is this, and then they're set to see us this way, and that's the state using religion to do that, to set us at odds, and to try to delineate this blind this blindness that we can't see people individually. Of course, then again, the state, that's not profitable for them because they want to create a war. Then all of them have to be seen as the enemy, and you can't see them as a friend, or you may not shoot them for the state. You see?
Yeah. Well, it's happening right now, isn't it? And it's happened. The Second World War. It was the Jew thing, and now it's the Islamist thing. And I couldn't believe there was a guy.
I'm not saying there's no righteous fights, but at the same time, we are being propagandized and manipulated too.
Well,
and if it is.
Can I pop in really, really quickly?
Yeah, please.
I was sent on this journey by my son a few months ago. He was in school and they were doing some kind of, I don't know, Shakespeare thing, I have no idea. But it ended up with him asking me, Mum, why do people not like Jewish people? Okay, this was just whatever had come across in the classroom. This set me on this whole thing to find out the whole racism thing, which naturally brought me into religions then. And I kept looking up different pages and whatnot, trying to figure out what was it, what on earth, the racism and the separation and stuff. And then I kept on, no, I'm getting the information that they want me to have by looking at these pages. So then I went onto Google, and I went out of my way to actually find people from different religions. And that's when I kind of figured out where it's so, every one of them is so alike in certain ways. The same messages are there, more than the differences. So all this stuff with certain religions, I know this is not coming out the right way. We're taught it, and we're taught. If I wanted to learn about Islam, you know, I look at a book on Islam or whatever, whichever site or whichever book promotes it. It's not the real version to me. It's if I'm talking to somebody and I'm getting their version, I'm getting the real version. And that's when I think it all falls apart, the separation. You do start seeing the similarities, you know?
I agree. I went because I wanted to know about Sharia law. There was this panic about Sharia law here in America. Oh, it's coming to America, and America's going to be Sharia law. So I went to a forum on Islam and asked women, what is Sharia law? And boy, did I get I got an education, and the bigger education I got was that most of the women you see that just wear a scarf, not the burqa, you know, because I know there's fanatical in every religion, but the plain Muslim women, that is their culture. Just like this is my culture, Anna has her Irish culture, Anthony lives in the UK, England, I believe. You have your culture. Rick Mack, he's tribal, he's Scottish, he comes from a long line of clans people. He has, you know, his culture. Dis has his culture. I think it would just be so cool to get a group of us in a circle. And I said this on a comment today to a man in Middle Eastern descent because he said that, and he seemed to be getting really piled up on. And I say, wouldn't it be lovely if we all sat in a circle and could talk? You know, to one another, and we'd find out that we were more alike than different.
This is what I was saying before, though. This is what I was saying about when I listened to that conversation about the three different religions. When they actually sat in the room, they were very, you know, there was no difference. There was actually no, you know, other than what they'd been taught. The teachings were different. You know, the indoctrination was different.
Because they believe in one God, you see. That's why it's not about the same. But
they were treating each other with respect?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Not knocking or anything?
No, absolutely. Totally respectful to each other. But, you know, and it was kind of mind-boggling for me because I expect them to just start, well, you see on the TV where they just, you're this, you're that, and it was actually, it was a different outlook. Well, it just totally changed my point of view on that. There are people out there that, yeah, okay, they have beliefs and stuff, and they believe this, and this one believes that. But actually, when you put them together, they just become human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You could go anywhere in the world, and you'll find people just like you. Maybe with differences, obviously language differences and stuff like that, and cultural differences. But at the end of the day, people just want to live their lives, go from day to day, and just get on with life, hopefully as good as they can.
Yeah.
But then you got the bullshit media and all these assholes coming on and trying to divide people through these likes of religion, culture, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, could I interrupt for a minute because the chat room is really going really good. So let me try to start back here. And a lot of people just started joining us, and I'm going to say hi to them because I'm glad they made it here. Wannabe 24 lived. Thank you, Linda. I had the best day of my life today. Cut my chain and became a peaceful warrior. No joke. I fight to restore the role of women always from now on. you know who is talking here. Bless your heart. Now, the thing is the role of women in my culture was a matrilineal role because we followed the role of the earth, and so it's not that women are macho or anything. I'm going to explain this sentence so nobody gets really on wannabe here. It wasn't that women were dominant or anything else. It's just that because they were the bringers of life, even though it does take a man, they were revered. So, you know, it's really cool. Wild Irish Horseman joined us. Thank you, brother. Tommy Stock, he says this is a very cool, relaxed chat, and some very good people from different parts of the world, different backgrounds and cultures, sharing thoughts and perspectives that they have in common. He calls that unity, but I did have to make a response back to Tommy Stock, and you know, his ass should be in here. I've been trying to get him in a chat, so I'm just pointing that out to embarrass him right now, Tommy Stock. Alan says he don't believe the bullshit that Alex Salmon has to offer Scotland, but I look at it as a massive stepping stone, so some sort of possible freedom. It means we only have to travel 30 miles to, I'm going to say it wrong, Holyrood and Numbers if we have problems with our governments instead of trying to get near Westminster. If we get our independence, this will be the start, folks. And yes, we're all moving to Scotland. Just thought I'd let you know. James Owen is here. I'm glad. Dean Yates is, Dean's here. Dean Yates is here. Hello, Dean. Madam Von Cook is here. Hello, sister. We love you. Hell of a deal's here. Just got off work, and I'm glad. Tired, long, hot day, but it's a very good topic. The True Ray Smile said, this is so very real. I have seen them and heard them. And she's talking about when we were talking about death that I really wanted to touch on. And even her wonderful father, after he passed, came and spoke to her. This is far much more to the spiritual world than we ever know. I actually so agree. And one day maybe we can just focus a whole chat on that and get people who know exactly what I'm talking about. Like this, even with calling upon Jesus, you're calling upon a conscious being. Harry Cookie Monster, hello. Save America's Liberty. How you doing? I'm glad you're here, and it's just a roaming flow here because I know he wants to know what's going on. Rebecca Bradley's sister, I'm glad you're here, and she says she sees them in her dreams, and I believe she's talking about ancestors. They speak to me, but sometimes I cannot hear them or they're distorted. That'll work out if you keep on, pray upon it. Eric Ward, what is that noise I'm hearing?
Sorry, I'm just boiling I'm boiling the kettle. Sorry.
Okay, Derek Ward said this shit is deep. I love it, beautiful people. Well, we're trying to touch on topics, Derek, and everybody else that other people avoid, and I think it's a good idea that we do that, because sometimes we need to just find out where everybody stands and maybe unindoctrinate ourselves. And yes, Ray, I'm glad you made it back in time. And tell Obi I said hi. That's just something personal. Wannabe said, I think the concept of good and bad has been for a reason until now. Better make a good choice, just saying. Okay, Mountain Mama says, I've been visited by my sister who died when I was 9 and a friend in my 20s. I've seen ghosts. The ones I saw knew they were dead and were those surprised I could see them. They were determined to stay here. Demons are very different. You wouldn't mistake one for a dead person. I think Christians are overly afraid of these things. Demons are like roaches. They flee from the light inside us. Prayer. Christians need not fear them in my experience. I totally agree with you. I can see people that look just like, I guess they call them ghosts. They look like you and I can have a conversation. Actually, that's how I got the home I'm living in. The man came in and said, I died in that room. I asked the lady, what do you call it, the real estate lady, there was a lot of us looking at this house. And I said, so a man died in there. And he told me how he died. He hit his head on the tub. And everybody left the house like it was freakish, haunted. But it wasn't haunted. He was just telling me a story. Madam Von Cook, I know firsthand I was shot in the crossfire of a gang drive-by shooting in South Central LA. And don't even ask. Yes, I was there buying drugs. Okay, we've all been there, so had a near-death experience. It was legally dead for 2 minutes. Yeah, honey, I was 8 minutes, so I actually will identify with you totally. Time ceased. It seems like hours. Yes, it does. I'm going to agree with her on this. I went through the tunnel, which we experienced. Before I did, I could see everyone below and my own body laying there. I floated up, went through the tunnel, then felt the presence of my people. Some I knew, some I did not. Then suddenly, I was literally in space, heading rapidly towards the light. Then suddenly, I crashed back into my body. I was pissed at the time because I did not want to come back. Space was awesome. But I'm glad I did because I want to have 2 beautiful daughters, and I have my obstacles. Sis, I know your obstacles, but let me tell you what. I know the things you've been through, but you are not a victim, and you don't play that game. And yes, you are very blessed, and you live a good life. And I'm going to say she's a dear sister, and a lot of people have had a lot of bad things happen. But this is one sister that will not play that victim card, and I thank you for that. Hell of a deal. I came from a hillbilly culture. Well, I was born down south, hell of a deal. And I don't know, hillbillies are kind of cool too, because if you get them in the back room, they'll talk to you about spirits, and it's not all bad. The true race, and it's all hand-me-down knowledge. My father told me. I cannot give you the answers about what is real or why it is so. So you have to experience and find the answers for yourself. I know that was the best advice any parent can give a child, to watch, listen, and research their own truth, their view. And I'm going to say this to you, the true Ray, I agree with you. And this is what I say this in a lot of comments. Beliefs are what you're taught. Knowledge is what you experience. And I have to stand just by that because that is just how it works out. Madam Von Cook says again, we don't just die. When we die, that I know for certain our bodies are simply a vehicle our souls are riding in. I totally agree. Tony B, hi folks, hello. Derek Ward says unity, I agree. Wannabe said religion became a tool, but we grow together. And I'm going to add something to that. We could actually complement each other and learn more. You know, even if it's religion that brings, say, different religions together and we set them aside, I believe we're the pieces of the puzzle that could make this world a better place with love and other things. And I mean, you guys can answer these too. I'm just putting my thing in there. I hell of a deal says, I believe in the Great Spirit. We are all miracles. If everyone knew that we would be in a world of peace and love, that's very true, the Great Spirit. And he said, I see dead people too. Cool. That's awesome. Tony, mute your mic. Linda has to shout above your noise. Dean said that. Dean Yates said, Tony, mute your mic. Linda has to shout above your voice. And I'm sorry I am shouting. It's okay. A man body has, Wannabe says, a man body has good focus for the hurt. Women have more the wider view. It's a team effort. It's a balance. I agree. Very true. And I'll have to catch up the next time around so we can continue where we were at. Now, where were we? Because I believe that the chat room probably has a lot more insight than, you know, we just add the topic and you know, we're the cake and they're the frosting in a way for me. So, you know, I don't know how you guys exactly feel about that, but that's how I look at it. The chat room themselves, they are actually the icing to the cake.
Yeah, it's people's opinions and they're important.
Absolutely. I was thinking of something. How many people, visit graves here? I know Linda doesn't do this, and and have conversations or talk to those that have passed on. Just in here and in the outer chat room too.
No, I don't. I don't personally visit graveyards. No, I don't do that either. I'm a bit like Linda.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I think it's a really peaceful place to be.
Well, I've been cemeteries. I don't mind cemeteries or anything like that, but I no, as in talking to a stone and an empty shell, and that's the way I see it now. And that's just my thing. They've moved on, but you can talk to them. You can still talk to them, and I do that. And that is like what Linda was saying about her calling her ancestors. I do the same thing.
Yeah, he does.
What about you, Anna?
Anna?
Sorry?
What about you?
As in what?
As in
She likes
graveyards and speaking to
graveyards. I go to graveyards is purely a respect thing. The only people I know in graves over here that are related, well, they're my family. But it's mainly for my mum. It's to go and take care of the grave, and it's a respect thing more than anything else, being very honest. I go there sometimes. It's a reminder as well. Sometimes people have gone, they can slip your mind, and sometimes when you come next to this stone that has their name on it, to me, it's an aid to bring things back to me. It's a signpost.
It's a reminder.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing.
Reminder.
This, I will say one thing. If I do, and I've had to go to funerals and stuff, I go and offer tobacco and certain things and make it a very sacred experience. If I have to go, I would never scream, rant, roar, walk through a cemetery angry, or disrespect any holy or sacred ground. So when I do go, it's to offer something, tobacco, blah, blah, blah. And I've had to go to a lot of funerals. So while everybody's standing around, I'm in the back doing something, smudging and offering things. And I'm sure they probably think I'm twisted, but most of them have allowed me to, no one has ever kicked me out. I did do one thing for one of my friends who asked me to. When he died, he had been in Vietnam, and I really didn't like doing it, but I did upon his request, and I haven't been back. But I think it's a very holy, sacred place, and we should never disrespect the cemetery. We should never be loud there, and you should also, if you're a Native American, they know what to do. You offer certain blessings and tobacco and sage and certain things. So.
Linda, can I just pick up on something you just said there? It was interesting to me. You were saying you would have brought tobacco and stuff. The wakes we had over here a long time ago, you would have traditionally bought tobacco and put it on a table. Seriously, you put it on a table with drink and whatnot. But that's what you did at a wake. You bought these gifts of tobacco.
See, I told you when we were talking the other day about things that because you said something, our cultures are very linked. I think everybody is very, very, very linked. If you went back to your ancestral thing, and it's just an offering. It's even though they've passed on, I even think with the Middle Eastern people, they have similar things they do. So, I really think that it is. It's weird that we are alike, and it's a sacred holy place. And I'm going to shut up now.
No. Don't.
No. Well, okay, Rick. We know the reason you and I don't go. Now, Dish, do you go to cemeteries?
No, but I'd considered. I consider doing it a lot of times, and I don't know. I've got to that point to where I'm comfortable with it really yet, especially if it's somewhere where I know who's there.
I can dig it. I mean it's a sacred place, so
What's Tony think about it?
Tony doesn't go, he said.
Oh,
Go
he
ahead,
doesn't.
Tony. Unmute your mic.
No, I mean, I find them very interesting places. I find it, but I like to, if I walk through a gravestone, I like to read and look at the stones, and I like to read the epitaphs on them. I find them interesting. You know, it's not a morbid thing, but it's like someone's life in a paragraph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find it interesting, and you find, because history really isn't real because we've never lived in history.
Yeah.
But them words on there are real, and they were written at that time, and I find that kind of interesting, you know, because it gives a depiction of the person. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like using the word person, but
yeah.
it gives us, you know, and so yeah, I do. Yeah,
Well, they are
you can see the
monuments,
difference.
yeah.
You can see the also you can see the difference in wealth as well at the time when people were buried. You know, some people's stones are very simple, and some people's stones are very ornate, and you can see you can tell the status of the person at the time. You know what I mean? I just find it interesting. I find churches interesting. I find being a scaffolder, I look at a church and I think, how the hell was that built? How the hell did people put that building up? When there was no machinery, there was nothing, you know, there was... I find it astounding, the architecture. But that's one thing I do, although it's a bit of a... symbolism and what people might say symbolism or whatever, but I find the buildings, I don't think they could build the same buildings now, you know.
No, the safety codes and everything would make it terribly cost prohibitive.
yeah, well, yeah, there's obviously that aspect. But
and
yeah,
they use I know that a lot of the great cathedrals, they were over 100 years.
Just read the sidebar. Read down because.
I think this is cut out.
Is you there? Scream, brother, scream.
I think his name's going back down again.
I know he. I want to ask him because we made a rule.
Yeah.
And
with the cemetery, but you walk around here in the Highlands, you go for a walk. Well, I know the place, but I mean, if you weren't from here or whatever, you just move, walk about in the hillsides and that, and you'll come across old cemeteries that are unattended. You know, nobody's tending to them and what have you, and you just come across them by accident in the woods and stuff. So old burial sites and what have you. And some of them are interesting. I get what Tony is saying there about the stones and stuff, yeah.
And you know, I was thinking as well, death, and it's, oh God, that sounds wrong. It's not that it's been made into a negative thing, because it's not a positive thing, but it was brought into the hospitals and made something kind of, not disease-like, but, you know, there was something wrong with you. And sure, a long time ago, people didn't go to hospitals to die. And what got me thinking of this was the whole wake thing. My nanny had a wake. And I have to say, it was the funniest thing I've ever been to. It was fantastic. She was laid out there in the front room, and we had all her old records on, and we were all singing along to these really bad songs. It was fantastic that we all hated. But we were kind of half laughing, half crying. Everyone had a funny story to tell. Everybody had a funny little thing, and just to have her in the room, she wasn't there anymore, but like it was more of a celebration. It wasn't this negative thing, and it was one of the loveliest things I've ever been to. It was really positive. It was.
Some of the funerals are quite. It's a celebration of the person's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And some are very, very upsetting, and depending, I suppose, on the funeral, who died and how they died and what have you.
True.
Yeah, I don't think death is a thing you should be scared of. I can see why people can't be scared of it. I've accepted it a long time ago. It was just in my upbringing actually to accept it and to embrace it in a way, you know, as a part of life. You could say it's the end of life. I don't think it is, but that's just me. From a very early age, as soon as one of her relatives died, it was a thing here, and certainly in the people I knew of in the Highlands, it was a thing to get the kids involved, to go and see their relative and say goodbye to them and stuff like that. But I know from people from other parts of the world that wouldn't do that, wouldn't you know, it's a taboo thing for their children to see their dead relative or stuff. But I think the first death was a great uncle of mine, and I was only 6 at the time. That absolutely terrified me. They told me to go into the room on my own to get a cushion from the chair that was next to my great uncle, and I didn't like him. He was a bully to me, you know. He didn't like me. I was only 6 years of age, but the man passed away in his 80s, and they asked me to go and get a cushion from the room. So I went in and I tiptoed. I don't know why I tiptoed, but I tiptoed, you know, and I was scared. And as I grabbed the cushion, I could hear from his body this groan. It was like, oh, and I didn't realise that I ran out of the room screaming. That really tormented me for a while, and until they explained that, you know, or I was old enough to realise it was the air coming out of the lungs, and that can happen, you know, a little time after. But I was running around the house saying, "Oh, great Uncle John's alive," you know.
I remember seeing my dad's dad, and I was about 8, and I wasn't supposed to go in the room, but I went in the room because I love my dad's dad, my granddad. He was like, it's gonna make me cry now, but he was just great. You know, he was just great. You know what I mean? And I went in and I seen him, and I got told off for being in there. You know, and it was strange, but he looked so peaceful. You know, he looked peaceful. You know what I mean? But it was strange. But then again, I'd use the word cathartic, I suppose. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, it may. I don't know. It had a meaning anyway. It put a meaning in it. You know, it made me understand that you're not bulletproof. You know, and that inevitably this is what happens. And but just to see the man so peaceful was a blessing in itself. You know what I mean? Because he worked so hard. He had 3 jobs. He'd work like a dog, man. You know what I mean? He used to come around to our house just to get his head down. My nana was a bastard. She was terrible to him, but he always used to come around and just get his head down in the chair. You know what I mean? Because he worked so hard, and it was a sad day because he was only 54 when he passed over. You know what I mean? It was sad, but you know that's just reminiscing there, really, just going through life.
But you were discouraged from going into the room then? You know,
oh yeah, I got told when I came out, "What are you doing in there?" Well, yeah. My granddad's in there, you know. Why can't I be in there? Me being the non-conformist, Rick, I just went for the non-conformist. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
you're
not supposed to.
Personally speaking, my kids, you know, obviously, great granny died and what have you. I didn't force my kids to go in there. They were maybe 8 or 9 at the time, but they wanted to go in, so that was cool with me and my wife, you know. But it's an individual thing, I suppose. But I know it's a taboo in some areas, but we were encouraged to do it.
I think it's. If what I'm going, I think you should let them, because I think it's real. It's reality. You know what I mean? Yeah. It brings home the reality of what everything's about. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way, but it just brings some realism into this unreal world that we live in, really. You know what I mean?
Well, it forms a discussion too between the kids and the family. They'll ask questions, you know, once they see the relative, and you know, and that can be helpful too, because if it's a taboo and you're shut away from seeing that, and then I remember working with a male nurse for many years, and we had a death in the ward, and that particular ward, it was very rare for somebody to die, but this person had died, and the male nurse couldn't work with me. He couldn't get it together at all. He had never seen a dead body. And this guy worked in the hospital for something like 6 years, and he had never seen a dead body, and he freaked out. And later on, I discussed it with him, and he had never seen a dead body. He was discouraged from his family when he was younger, and happy to go and say goodbye to his relative that died. So I think in a way for life, it's helpful to understand. You know, it helps you understand.
Plus the fact that the kids probably never got a chance to say goodbye. You know?
Well, that's it. That's another.
And that's their chance to say goodbye. You know.
And talking about the other end of the scale, when you're born, a lot of the babies are taken away from their mothers as soon as they're out of the womb. They don't get the bond with the mother.
Why do that on it? There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
that's my pet peeve. You know that.
You spoke about that last week, didn't we?
All right, yeah. So from birth to death, there's a, you've got all that.
I always wondered, where do you get those pet peeves and what do you feed them?
Okay, no, it's because I know that that's your first instinct taken away from you, and we all need this instinct at this time. And where do I get them? It's because I still watch mothers vaccinate themselves while they're pregnant, go to a hospital to have a baby, nurses take the babies away instead of letting that baby do that breast crawl directly to the breast. It just pisses me off. That's how I get them. And I don't feed them. I try to educate the people, but nobody really listens. But I've got people watching the best breast crawl video finally. And it's amazing what babies can do. You can lay them on a mother's stomach and they'll crawl right to the breast. And it will latch onto the mother's breast and nurse. So that was the first instinct taken away from most of us. I'm sure I was. Hi, James. This is James Owen. He has joined us.
Hello, James. Yeah.
Hello.
James. Hi, James. Do you know, Linda, Sandra, my partner, she's breastfed all the kids. And when she had twins, it was so funny because there was no room in the bed for me.
Well, now
Hi, James. You all right, mate?
Hi, James. Tell us what. Okay, where are you from, James? I'd like to know. Where are you from?
Where are you from, James?
Right, how you doing?
How you doing? Are you hearing us okay?
Aye, I had something else open there. I was hearing the all sorts.
Linda was asking where you were from.
Glasgow.
And that's in Scotland?
Yes, Scotland.
Are you from a particular clan by chance?
The Owens clan.
Okay, well, I that could be true because I know a McLean. I'll leave it at that. Very fine man.
I didn't even know if there is an Owens clan that is made up.
I don't know. I don't know. I would have to look at that one. There probably is just to buy the kill, eh?
Is what?
I'm saying it probably is just to buy the kilt, a commercial thing. They'll make anything into a clan now.
I think Owens is more Irish as well.
Well, we're descendants of the Irish. I mean, we're Celtic. We're all, if you go right back in the Highlands, the McLean clan is one of the oldest in the Highlands, and that goes back to, now I can't remember from the proper name, but it's Irish anyway, an Irish king. And it's where they ruled the tip of Ireland and the western parts of Scotland. So I can trace myself back to that. But Glasgow's a big city, Linda. Linda is obviously in America changed, so she doesn't understand the geographics of Scotland.
Oh,
So you explain Glasgow a wee bit to Linda.
how do you explain Glasgow? It's massive.
You guys, I gotta read some of our stuff we got going on here because I gotta. These are. This is you know, we talk to the chat room. So here we go. From where I left off. Well, someone wants me to hook them up with some cactus and so they can meet God again. And I would actually love to hook you up with some and do a ceremony. However, yeah, brother, maybe one day we can meet and do this because I think it would be an excellent idea. True Ray had to leave. She homeschools and she said this was excellent. I want to get her son on very soon, very soon. So Derek Ward says, I pray to the Father in Christ's name. That's all. That's cool. It doesn't sound like, you know, you're praying against hate. I show you before every Ice Age. I'm smudging usually during our whole chat, before and after, to make sure the words that come out of my mouth are from my heart and stuff. Okay, so you caught her off guard. She was thinking about the truth. Oh, we caught Anna off guard a few minutes ago. She was thinking about Truth Seeker, it says. So, we love you, Truth Seeker. Yeah, we love you, Truth Seeker. We all do, and we see you. You love Anna. Dean Yates, I love walking around graveyards, mainly for the stone masonry. Some of the best stone works are on churches. Hell of a Deal says, never disrespect the dead. Bad things happen to those that do. I really just think that, I'm going to say something really quick. I don't understand why churches have the graveyard next to them. It's like, you better come to church or you're going to end up dead and go to hell. But you're going to end up dead anyway. We all die. The physical body dies. The energy goes on. And I don't believe in hell, so that's just my take.
Actually, from what I understand, it was like I guess the monks or the people that worked at the church used to tend the graveyard, and it was consecrated ground, so kept it consecrated and everything.
That was the only place you could get buried.
Yeah, and still, you know, of course, the way they had that rigged, that's the only place you could get buried and still be in the fold.
All right.
Then you get buried there, you wouldn't go into heaven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read a few more, guys, and then we'll get back to this.
Well, it was in a 50 lot and with a really low fence, and I couldn't get it out. I'm full of bad jokes today, guys. They're just starting to
Harry Cookie Munster says, as the physical body decays, it is absorbed back into the planet. Why is that we think the spirit remains tied to the one place, our identity? Very good question. It's just a sacred place in our culture, but we do believe one spirit hangs around to protect the graves. And there's a reason I'm sure that was brought up, because people like to steal Native American stuff, and that still happens to this very day, and Dis can vouch for that. They will dig up an American Indian's grave. Don't ask me why. All ancient graves have, well, James, you're here. You can tell us about that in a minute. Tanenzo, I say it wrong. I'm sorry, brother. I strongly believe the Native Americans and Aztec sect had it right with using the ethogens to expand your consciousness and become more spiritual using plants that God gave us to do so with. I agree. Such as the peyote rituals that North American Church is allowed to use as their sacrament. Linda, what's your take on using the ethogens, peyote mushrooms? Well, okay, we can stop right there. Oh, wait a minute.
Can I chime in?
Yeah. Chime in, and then I'll finish this comment.
Dropped out again.
What happened?
I think he's dropped out again. Oh.
Okay, well, I'll finish this real quick. If he's not here, he'll come back. Okay, you there? All right, and then I'll finish his comment. So go ahead.
If you're going to do something like that, you really have to study the ritual that you're going to do very seriously, and have that in your mind front and foremost before you even start considering any of the other enhancements or whatnot. Anyways, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but
I know.
I don't want people to be like that. I want people to be respectful and take this stuff seriously, because it's
Exactly, and let it be a shamanic ceremony. Let it be a true
yeah.
rebirthing ceremony. It's Linda. What is your take on using these for spiritual growth? And I'm not talking about having a party or abuse. I'm talking about serious use. For me, I believe God has us use these so we can have a way to experience different levels of the conquerors, what dimensions, and indeed we can get closer to the Creator. I myself have been through several ceremonies, and not only is it painful before the ceremony, getting ready for the ceremony, there's fasting, there's vomiting, there's all kinds of cleansing that goes with it. And during the ceremony, sometimes you have to face yourself, which horrifies people when they have to actually face themselves. So it's not like a one day go in and do it, and you're done. It is like a 4 or 5 day thing, getting prepared for it and then going into it and coming out. But you need direction when doing it. I have done everything but ayahuasca. I myself had talked about doing ayahuasca, but someone actually said, maybe I don't need ayahuasca. Maybe I've got to where I needed to be already. I don't know. I'll think on that one.
Sounds like it.
Thank you. But if you're using them in a spiritual means and you go through it the right way with someone who is and get to know who your spiritual leader would be, person to person, be with them for a while, and make sure they're not going to, because look, when you're in one of these states, they can tell you anything they want, and that's going to lead you into that experience. So you need to have someone who's really there to show you. I believe it does help with the connection. I totally do, because it did with me. But like this said, be careful who, where, and why you're picking it. You're not doing it for abuse. I like that. Find a good shaman or a good American Indian. There's a lot of elders that will take you through it. And like I said, it is a hard ceremony with, you'll drink a little nicotine juice. It'll make you vomit your guts out and stuff. So, and sweat and not eat. You have to eat certain foods and fast and pray. And then when I say pray, I mean, it's not like a prayer. You're going to be praying all day. So it's a very hard ceremony to go through. But if you're up for that and you can find someone, I think everyone should experience it. Hell of a deal said, I can already see I'm an empath. Are you talking about empathic? I can already see my epitaph. He was one weird dude, LOL. Well, that's kind of cool. If somebody has that, that means you're a pretty good dude to me. If that's your headstone. Tony Snodgrass, do you guys think we are all connected and with the universe by our consciousness? I'm going to say mine first and everybody else can answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to hope so. I think there's a few that are disconnected, but I think the general consensus is that yes, we are.
Sorry, I was disconnected. What did you say?
Okay, it's we had a question here, and it's from Tony Snodgrass. Sorry about that. He said, "Do you guys think we are all connected and one with the universe by our consciousness?"
I think we are. I think we're energy, aren't we? Really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're all frequency.
Yeah, and I don't think energy dies. So, the worm food theory, I used to think about the worm food theory. Well, you're worm food when you die, but when you think about it, energy doesn't die, so it's got to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying, when I say the worm food, I'm just going back to the worm. I'm going back to where I came from. Like I said before, I believe there's something, but I could never ever attempt to depict what that is. You know,
we don't
I
know what it is, do we?
I mean, there's an essence inside everybody that must go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Here
that's what I'm
is an
saying.
excellent, yeah, I agree with that. Here is an excellent comment, and I'm going to totally agree with this. Wannabe says, graveyards are on Earth grid lines and are connection to the universe. They are hijacked. Almost every ley line and Earth grid line has been hijacked. I know that the American Indians used to talk to the water and every ley line and Earth grid line and put in good, you know, everything that was said was good, and it has been hijacked with some symbology, some stuff I don't even understand. And I think a lot of people would agree with that here on this panel. That would be a whole nother chat, though.
Well, they did the Olympics in London on one of these lines, didn't they? And they built a pyramid, a glass pyramid too. And there's definitely something to do with the ley lines. And the Egyptian pyramids are on them too, aren't they?
Yeah, and for some reason I think that was at one time an equal, you know, our equatorial with this new, if we have a pole shift, it's almost like that was because there's a lot of things there, like that was almost an equator at one time, but that would be another topic too.
Well, you can connect every ley line for the pyramids to the Incas to every ancient place in the world. You can connect them all with a ley line.
You know, people were conscious of that in those times. People were very conscious of that, and
sorry.
I could barely hear you. I didn't know you were talking.
No, go
sorry,
on.
Anthony.
Sorry, no, sorry. Carry on.
But you know, they thought there was something to that, and I do too. I mean, there's the veins of the planet right there. You know, that not only you know are magnetic fields gathering there, but a lot of times water gathers along ley lines, and it has you know, an influence on the physical world.
Well, it must have, yeah.
I talk to all flowing water. I think everyone should say a blessing or prayer or whatever you believe in. Put positive energy in it. Maybe we can change the world. Just a thought.
Yeah. But with all this fracking and stuff, and drilling and blasting and mining and concreting over, and it's, you know, they're just digging into the earth, you know, and just any which way to Sunday, just, you know, well, I own this, so I'm renting this, so I'm gonna get all I can out of it, and you know, there's no respect for what natural structure is there. You know, that buildings aren't built with the earth; they're built against the earth.
It will all come back and bite them in the ass.
I hope so.
It will, though. Well, it will,
yeah.
though, won't it? It will.
Yeah.
There's nothing more certain that it will.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, Tony, truly.
Well, if you look at the systems in the past, right, the Roman Empire, and that's where it's all right. But the problem is, once it collapses, another one takes its place. A control system, and it's the same bloodlines, believe it or not, that are controlling it. Have been. It's the old world order. People call it New World Order. There's, you know, mix and all these. Yeah.
Even the Romans, though, from what I understand, they wouldn't, you know, damage things like that. They actually had a lot, and they were pagan cults. They had a lot of, you know, all these different cults and stuff. They did have somewhat of a respect for the earth, even though, you know, they were building and mining and doing all their things. It just wasn't nearly as intrusive or destructive as what we do today. I mean, most of what they built went back to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, you know, some stone roads and the foundations and some of the bridges and aqueduct frames, but most of it was, you know, it was from the earth. It went back to the earth.
Well,
and it wasn't so bad. Now we get it. We have dynamite. We have heavy machinery. We have these high pressure drills. We're really ripping into the earth, and all these chemicals and things that weren't even known of. Everything that was done in those times was done with
natural resources.
Yeah, bits, water, a shovel, manpower.
Yeah.
And
Wow, I had so many spammed people I didn't talk to. I hope they didn't go away. I have to find them now.
Not blessing their society or anything, but if we were to have a civilization, that would be one of the cleanest, minus the lead pipes and that kind of a government structure. But if we built that way now, I don't think it would hurt anything.
No, but it's a bit weird and a bit too coincidental when you have the same bloodline going through centuries.
Oh yeah.
Now, like the Romans, the Jesuits, wherever you want to go back and say, you've got the Orsini's, they're a Maximus bloodline. They go right back to Rome, and they've got a lot of bloody power. You used to find a lot of staff on the Orsini's. Now you can't hardly find bits of rumours here and there. And they've taken that off the internet over the last 5 years.
Now a lot of stuff's been disappearing.
Yeah. So I go back to the 3 city-states. That's the basic. If you want to find out about that shit, the inner city of London, and then you've got the Vatican City, you've got Washington D.C. It's not a coincidence that these are states within countries. They're fucking privately owned, and they're on the show, as far as I'm concerned.
It's the Trinity.
Yeah, that's the Trinity, yeah.
It's the Trinity.
So, no matter what you talk about, it always goes back to that, in this, within the system. You hear people saying that all roads lead to Rome. I believe that, but lead further back than that as well. And you can go back and connect to it.
Yeah, but in a physical sense, Rick, Rome was only one building roads.
That's true.
Well, you don't have to go back to it, so it might not have a link to it, but I get it, yeah. 4 out of 10 for that. No, it's true. Except in Scotland, there's no Roman roads in Scotland.
No, it's just a wall.
They kicked us in. They kicked us in. It wasn't to keep them out, it was to keep us in.
Hey guys, let me read some stuff because a lot of people were spammed and I didn't know it. I feel terrible. Firewalker 2609. It is much easier to raise the dead now than it used to be, and I don't know. I don't understand that, but maybe okay. But then he also asked, "Are you Celtics?" Okay, that's for you Celtics and Scots. Don't you despise you? Don't. All right, wait a minute. Same old story, same old song and dance, the never-ending family feud. Okay, wait. Are you on our side or are you not, Firewalker 2609? Because we're trying to unite here. Are the Celts and Scots? Do you despise each other? The Celts and Scots.
You know what that's going back to, Linda. That's going back to what we were talking about, what Tony was talking about earlier on. Is painting everybody with the same brush. It's like, oh look, he's a Muslim extremist. All Muslims are bad. Or he's that. That's exactly what this guy's talking about. He's painting.
He's read the. All he's done is looked at the cover. That's what I was saying before, Linda. He's just looked at the cover. Okay. He's not even flipped through the pages. He's not even looked at the first page.
Okay. Well, he also doesn't believe in death at all. It's not real. Well, your physical body will die. And he also says he looks for mice in grave. Oh, so that's somebody else. Oh, John Messon says he looks for mice in graveyards. Well, I imagine they would be in graveyards. Well, I don't know. If you're worm food, mice eat worms.
John Messens is alright.
Yeah, I just wonder why, though.
I don't know, but G Mango, what's up, peeps? Much love. We love you, G Mangos. Rebecca Bradley, you were spammed. I don't know why, because we're sisters. Around here, there are graveyards in the woods. Me and my husband have stumbled upon them before. And she also said they dug up a Cherokee site around here to build a Walmart. That's happening everywhere on any native land there. And they're also selling them in Paris at an auction. And it's very sad to sell Indian remains there. North American Indian remains. It's just, that's horrific to me. Mountain Mama, what do you think of transhumanism? That the elite, they can live forever in a robot body and escape judgment for their sins. Do you think they really believe this? I think they believe a lot of things, but I think it's nonsense.
I'll hack the clinics and hit control all day. Okay.
The transhumanism thing, though, is definitely here. It's arrived. You just need to look at the kids. I look at my own kids, and they're going away from being human being to this. And there are people wanting this. This is a serious thing. There's a doctor in England, I think, that's promoting this transhumanism, and he's putting chips in his own. I think this is brain. He's chipping himself.
Someone was talking about a girl that was doing that to herself last night in a hangout I was in, and she's just chipped herself up.
Yeah. And there are people that are doing that. Serious thing.
She can turn it. Apparently, she can turn a computer on by just, I don't know, doing something.
Blinking.
There's a video on YouTube.
I reach over and I flip the switch. I mean, why have surgery? She can just. She's
just become a big remote control, really.
Yeah.
so we
boils down to for me.
So they have actually, people are actually merging with machines at this point.
Yeah.
This is what was said last night. Yeah.
Mark Segan did a good video on that a couple of years back.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, I remember talking about this about 10 years ago, and people thought we were off our heads, and there was another guy talking about it, but it's definitely going on, and it's going on under not many people are talking about it.
Well,
under the radar.
Yeah.
Won't nature eventually?
Transhuman.
Would nature not eventually? Now, I'm thinking that maybe this is thousands of years away. Overcome the transhumanist and bring back consciousness and nature and the natural peoples of the earth.
It could go so far that that's what they're getting away from. They're getting away from nature. They're getting away from the human being. They're getting away from your connection to the planet and all the rest of it. And if it goes so far, will they ever be able to come back? They'll be like a robot, wouldn't it?
Like a bad episode of Star Trek, man.
Yeah.
You only have to look at how dependent you are on everything, really. And if something did happen, could you survive? You only have to look at it like that. I don't think I could.
Yeah. If the grid went down today, right, say the grid in the UK or America, wherever, the grid went down, and it was, say, winter time, hundreds of thousands of people will die.
Yeah,
if the grid went down, say, for a month, look, there'd be hundreds of thousands of people dead, and there'd be a bit of chaos as well. And that's just without electricity, and you're dependent. And that's what they want and have.
They like that one, don't they? We're going to have to turn the electric off.
Yeah, population.
They've been telling us for how long? How many years have they been telling us? We're going to have to turn the electric off.
They say that. I mean, here with the EMP is going to happen, and Walt Disney made a point. People are so dependent, and this was in a previous chat, so dependent on that grocery store, that big supermarket. I mean, I can go out in my own yard and pick stuff, and I mean, even weeds that are edible, and I don't know. I think people need to get a book and find out what you can eat in your own area, and you'd simply be fine. I mean, I don't eat a lot of meat. I do eat eggs and stuff, but meat is not the main staple of our diet here.
This is the kind of stuff they should be teaching in schools, though, how to survive on the planet.
Absolutely. They used to, actually. It was called the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, well, certainly I was never taught. But I'm around people that taught me anyway, what's edible outside and what have you. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, your science classes in grade school don't take the kids outside because they don't want the liability of them getting scratched or hurt or something.
God, but that's
There's
just
lawsuits and bull.
Yeah, but that's just bull.
It's stupid. Northander said, respect existence or expect resistance. Resistance, yes, that's a Cleveland statement. That's a Native American thing, and I think everybody should start saying this. Respect existence or expect resistance, and maybe we should start resisting them any way we can. Dean Yates is putting up a lot of links for us in here about transhumanism, it looks like, and thank you for that. Landlogger, thank you for dropping by. Love you very much. I caught up, I think, on everything that was spam, so we can continue here, and now I can watch you instead of the chat. And James, I would like to hear from you a little bit. What do you think of the transhumanism?
Transhumanism is here. Definitely. You get people putting chips in their hand to open their doors and open their garages and open their cars. It's here. It's been done.
Yeah.
And then you get the kids having to go in and thumbprint in the schools to get their dinners.
Biometrics.
Just to get on
Biometrics, same
phone.
thing. Your new iPhones in, you've got to put your thumbprint in it.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, those devices and the things that you those self-checkouts and things and whatnot, where you touch the screen to enter your data and stuff. Whatnot. They've been taking
I've got a thing on my computer. It's got face recognition
for years.
What was that, James?
I've got an actual thing on my computer. It's got a face recognition on it.
Yeah.
Really?
Aye.
We probably all do.
We're sleepwalking into it, and we have done.
I wouldn't have anything like that. I don't even like mobile phones, me.
No, nor me. I've not got a mobile phone. I don't own one at all.
Well,
I don't either.
Because my partner needs to get hold of me at some point, you know, so I do it. But I really would throw the bloody thing away if I could.
Well, there's some benefits to be found, and I think that's what crutches this technology into our lives. You know, that there is some actual benefit to it. Oh, you got an old one.
That's mine.
Dystopian. There's no benefit from a mobile phone. You can't get away from anybody.
No.
You cannot get away from anybody. You are. I used to go to work and I'd get there at 9 o'clock in the morning and I'd work till 5 o'clock at night, and I worked. Now I'm incessantly phone calls. Phone calls.
Yeah,
I don't go to work to go on the phone. I go to work to work. You know.
I understand that perspective.
I hate it.
I understand that. I'm just saying, if someone was like invalid or elderly or something, they can get a hold of assistance easy. You know,
it would work for me.
The rest of us, it's an intrusion.
But then, what did we do beforehand? Let's think. What did we do before mobile phones? What did we do? You know.
We used to check on our neighbors and stuff.
Exactly, but we had extended families too. Certainly here in the Highlands, we had extended families. I'm not saying it was a good thing. Grannies living with it. You know, you would have the granda living in the same house that you'd be living in. I'm not saying that's a good idea in the sense I couldn't have lived with my parents for more than I did. Not that I didn't love them, I loved them dearly, but you know. For obvious reasons, you need your own space. But lots of things have changed. But what did we do before this technology came in? like
We
Linda
kept an eye
said.
on each other. We kept an eye
Yeah,
on
we
each
did.
other.
Yeah.
Now we got all this distance. It's actually created distance. I was catching on to what you were saying there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Created distance and made us unsocial.
We don't even touch one another anymore. I mean, giving a person a hug, I mean, because all the pedophilia that's going around, if I was to hug an adult now, if I was to hug a woman, I would be labeled as gay. If I was to hug a man, and I hug everyone I meet, so you can imagine what society thinks of me. You know, if I was to meet Rick and Jules, for example, and I hug Rick and I hug Jules, people would think, she's bisexual. I mean, you think about it. I mean, because we've lost that sense of and that's our biggest thing. We need to touch and love one another. And I'm talking about love and not the term that some people think of, but we used to love one another and check on one another and help one another. And now it is just labeled.
Sorry, I was just thinking about, you know, normal life, going to the shop and meeting somebody and then hugging them, you know, what they would think, you know. No, but if you see...
Wallace.
The thing you were Charlie V.
Makes your nuts.
I was just thinking about you, James, going down Glasgow, you know, going hugging people. What would they end up thinking?
I think that people, yeah, we've got to start touching. I went to I hugged her. No, listen, not that way. Touch your own self if you gotta do that. Okay?
It just gets worse.
Yeah, I can see that we're going off. But we do need to get back to Kenny's got a cell phone and it rings, and I swear it must have some kind. It doesn't say it as recognition, but I can't answer it. I do. He said, just put your finger on it and you move the thing up, and it won't work for me. And when he's watched me over and over, I cannot answer his phone. It just rings. If it's around me, it's just going to ring because it doesn't acknowledge my DNA or my fingerprint or something. But so the cell phones, yeah, that's it. Maybe I don't have a pulse. You know, I don't know.
Linda has built up a protective energy field. I want to do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No, Kenny will tell you that the cell phone doesn't work for me. He's baffled. Everybody else can answer it but me. It's like, I don't know what, it's a good thing. And I don't know how to use them either, so I don't have one. So you can live without them.
You can.
That, it is, like you said, you're constantly on it, Anthony. You said that.
Well, it's not that as well, but they can just triangulate where you are at any given moment as well. It's just another means of knowing where you are. You know what I mean? It's just another means of
Skype's the same.
Snooping.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all threats. Apparently, we're all a threat. It's just the way I perceive it. We're all seen as some kind of threat now. You know, everybody's a threat, aren't they?
No, they're just protecting their assets.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you're a threat. You're a threat to their assets. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Isn't that?
The Orwellian theory has really come home, hasn't it? Really. You know what I mean?
Yep. Big thing.
If they really cared, though, I guess they would have the police not cover their heads in so much.
Well, maybe they got to get a few of us.
There's too many of us. You need to get a bit
one off every now and again to keep the fear up.
A wee bit of culling doesn't matter.
It's a fear tactic. I agree that it's just fear. So you will obey the militarized. We are totally militarized over here. And I don't know why Americans are not up in arms saying enough. But they're not.
Well, we got all our we got all our distractions and our work and our stress and our toys and our ambitions and our cheeseburgers and our televisions and our football games and beer. Come on, who wants to spoil that?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Oh, we got a lot of links. We've got a lot of people on here. This is awesome. Putin is the Antichrist, says Gavel Anti-Guru. According to Nostradamus, he is the third and last evil entity that will cause Armageddon and total annihilation of mankind. Enjoy and live life to the fullest and go ahead and max out your credit card. Why is Putin the Antichrist?
That's a good one,
I like that, man.
And don't pay it.
And don't pay it, yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Why Putin? I mean, I look around Ameristan here, and I look in North America, and I don't even know what the Antichrist means except the opposite of Christ is what it, I mean, anti would be opposite, right? And I'm not a Christian, so why would Putin be the Antichrist? I think they're all connected, all this empire system. One plays good guy, one plays bad guy. I think they're all connected, so wouldn't they all be the Antichrist? Just saying.
It's not Antichrist, it's anti-bullshit.
Oh, wow. Rebecca Bradley says, we clock in at work with our handprint. Wow.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So, Harry Cookie Monster says, smiley face fascism is already here. It's not jackbooted brown shirt frog marching through your account. It's gradual intrusion of data control. Except where we live, it is the jackbooted brown shirt frog. In America, they are totally getting militarized. And our human rights to you is just now starting to listen, and that is a very good friend of mine, and so welcome, and I'm glad you are listening to us. You are such a beautiful spirit. And so I'm caught up, and where are we going to go from here, guys? We have covered death, life, graveyards, Christianity, different religions, and Dis, you said you wanted to say something earlier.
Even though a lot of us are instructed, told, indoctrinated, whatever you want to call it, differently, we all still seem to have an instinctive urge, and not all of us, but a lot of us, to go to graveyards and talk to our deceased. I think that's our instinct trying to tell us something that our instructed rational mind doesn't agree with, but I think it's an instinct. I think it's an instinct to connect.
I think it's more a conditioning in some ways too. It can be depending on what background you come from and what have you. But if it's the way to do that, you know, mom and dad do it, granny and granddad do it, you know, and you see that and you feel, well, that's the way to do it. Rather than going
in that case, yeah. In that case, but you know, I'm just speaking in a context to where you know, you're told, okay, well, you know, the body is at rest, you know, the soul is at rest, whatnot, you know, they can't hear you, they're, they're going on, you know, and they're at rest or whatnot. But yet, the instinct is still there.
The only reason I wanted to go into a graveyard was to see the stones. See who was a Jew and who was a Jesuit and who was a Mason, because it's still there on the gravestones.
I just don't go in them, but unless I have to, like I said, and it's sacred to me, so I make offerings. I did, though, sneak off when I was younger behind an Episcopalian church that was across the street from me when I moved out on my own. And behind their little garden was an old, overgrown cemetery. And I think I've told you guys what it said, right? I went and told my aunt.
What did it say?
It said Civil War. It said it would have a name of a horse like Stonewall, or I'll just say Stonewall Jackson, horse that died in Civil War battle, heroic horse. It's a horse grave, and next to it, and people don't get offended, please. It would say nigger slave, and that bothered me to my core so much that I thought, how could someone even do this? I mean, this is just, I mean, there was no name, no age, nothing about this. So what did I do? I had to pray for this human being who, you know, was just a slave. And I grew up in the southern part of the United States, and there's a lot of those, and I think they're probably taking better care of those places now, I'm not sure. But there's a lot of hidden ones. And it was really, it struck me as horrifying, as that's how they thought of human beings. I mean, they, you know, the horse is more than...
A black person, couldn't it?
Yeah, the horse meant more than a human.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And so I had to run to my aunt and ask her, and I was, you know, 17, 18 years old, and asked her, and first of all, she scolded me, why were you there? And then she said, well, maybe you should have been there to see that. And, you know, she, you know, tried to. So I went, and I did do offerings and went and prayed for the human beings that were buried there next to animals that were just discarded that easy, because you don't even know how many people are in that grave. So I thought it was terribly sad, and that it was behind a church that really didn't even, I think it probably took care of the horse grave back then better than the other one. And it, you know, it just was, because this was in the 70s.
Yeah. I think sometimes, certainly here in the UK, maybe guys will know agree with this, but I think we tend to sort of look after our dead better than we do our living, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that, too. I know people that have immaculately kept graves that were mostly ignored in their life.
Well, do you think it's guilt? Maybe.
Right.
I mean, maybe.
What was that? Sorry, what was that?
Well, people take care of graves better than they take care of the person when they're alive. So, could that be some kind of guilt?
The ironic thing is you take better care of a war grave than you do of any kind of grave, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. You hit the nail on the head. You see it in the, you know, when they have the poppy day and all the rest of it. And,
they celebrate it.
They do. It's a celebration, and it's a celebration of war and death.
Aye.
Yeah. And you get
with little flags and stuff placed all on it, which is terrible.
It's an arbiter, and they go, the Queen and the Prime Minister and all that assholes go and put their bloody, and you know, it's, these bastards are causing a lot of the deaths, and have done. Their family, their, you know, the royals.
No, we don't like the royals here either, so.
Yeah. Well.
It came out with a classic line on the radio today, and they called it something or other was happening, and it was from the dead hand of the state. And I thought that is such an apt thing to say, and so right and right on the money. The dead hand of the state.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Because that's all it is. It's just a dead hand. It doesn't exist. It's just a dead hand.
I agree
to be there.
Yeah.
You know. And that struck a chord with me, that one, really, to be honest with you.
Well, I have to tell you, I think that there was, in that war, the Revolutionary War, after the Treaty of France, I think we went right back to Great Britain, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we owed them, so, I mean, we're not free from that. I mean, we just don't acknowledge it, but we're still part of that empire.
Well,
still paying the French, John. Yeah.
We owe for damages.
Yeah, you're still paying the French, aren't you?
We're paying everybody. We're paying for everything.
We're paying you for the Second World War, and you're paying the French for the War of Independence. So
Well,
I don't know how true that
it all
is.
goes in the same. Well, the French were in one part of the United States, but I'm seeing after the Revolutionary War, I do believe that we were in so much debt that we signed the land over to them, didn't we?
I do believe there was something went on, yeah, because that's why you got the Statue of Liberty, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
something to do with the French.
Yeah.
The statue of ISIS.
It was gifted.
Was it gifted?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no gift. Come on.
I don't know. I just thought that was part and parcel of the deal. I don't know.
Maybe it's.
But I know that.
The flag of France is that statue on us.
I think we still pay you for the Second World War, though. I think we're still in some kind of financial contract with the Americans for the Second World War. I still don't think we've paid that off. I might be wrong.
Is it? I don't know if any of these wars could be paid off. Could they? Isn't there?
I think that's.
I mean, is it?
You just got to look at Germany in 1933. It was absolutely bankrupt to hell, and then within 6 years it became a superpower.
Who would you really owe? Banks? You know, who would anybody really owe? Banks? You know, I don't consider anybody having a debt to me.
No. Well, no. Well, I don't owe anyone any debt.
If they do, you're not getting it.
Yeah, you better prove you've lent it me first.
If you've got a debt problem, just go to Tony, okay? Tony won't mind it. Sorry, he sorts them out. Class.
We don't have that.
Yeah, but talking about freedom, you know, you're touching on freedom there, but we're only as free. I mean, what is total freedom? What would you class as total freedom? Freedom to me, you can only be as free as your environment lets you, right? The environment lets you, and total freedom is, I don't know. Can you get total? What is total freedom?
My house.
The environment that surrounds you, that you're in at the moment, that's the only, you're not going to get more than that. Is what the environment allows you, and that could be nature, it could be the system, it could be anything. But what is freedom? What would be freedom?
Self-sustainable life.
You would feel free if you could do that, then, James. Aye.
Right.
And go live in a cave. You know, when you're alone, that is, and beholden to no one is beholden to you. That's the only way you can be as free as a person can be.
Well, I used to do a lot of hill walking.
What are you saying about? You need to become a bear.
Yeah. Well, even bears get together when they nap. They socialize.
Aye. No. Animals are free, aren't they?
No,
Yeah.
but people talk about. I hear the word freedom a lot, and we need our freedom back. And what's freedom? To be controlled by a government, to be controlled, have rules, not have rules,
To just understand that you don't. I mean, we are all considered children of the state. No matter whether you're 25, 35, 45, they consider you. Everything's a nanny. They're the big brother.
It's a parent-child relationship. I'm an adult. I don't need a parent.
Exactly. I don't need someone to tell me how to behave. I know what's my moral compass points in the right direction. I don't want to cheat anybody out of anything. I don't want to take anybody's stuff. I just want to be left alone to live, and not be put into this thing where where an MP says, well, I get up at 4 in the morning and I go home at 10 o'clock at night. Well, yeah. Well, why would I want to do that? I don't want to do that. I'd like to just I think we should be on a 3-day week and 4 days off, because I think life's for living. You know, you should be out doing stuff. You know, I understand that obviously if you wanted to buy into that bollocks, then fine, buy into it. But to me, it's just bollocks. You know, I don't do consumerism anymore. I don't do consumerism anymore. I'm not interested in consumerism. Consumerism just sucks the lifeblood out of everything. You know?
Yeah.
You know what? Someone's trying to get something going. I think it's Ken Bob. I don't know if you guys know him. On 9/11, everyone stay home. Don't consume. Don't buy anything. It's called Patriot Day now. I don't know if Americans knew that. So Patriot Day is 9/11. And we've already looked up that word patriot, knowing that that's a blind obedience to the state in a way. So Patriot Day happens on 9/11. I agree with what this Ken Bob guy, who says we have got to do something, and the best way would be turn the, or I say shoot the TVs, turn them off, don't look at any of the crap. They're going to memorialize this sacrifice they did, and don't consume and don't participate in it in any way. And, you know, things like that, if we could start doing something once a month and maybe make it a worldwide thing where people just didn't consume for one day.
Yeah, you could, absolutely. Small ideas can lead to big ideas.
See, again, just going through cultures there, the Muslims do that in Eid, where they fast. They fast for a day, and they eat at night, and it's basically, it takes out the consumerism. You know, you don't drink water, you don't eat for 12. What is it? Daylight? Is it?
But they do. Yeah, but they do make up for it, though.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe they probably do.
No, but in saying that, you're absolutely right, Tony. The guys I lived with, they lived with me, Rajib and Mohammed, and Rajib lived with me for 2.5 years, and he was devoted Muslim. He
but just the mindset.
Yeah, but what he did was
the mindset of being able to do it. You know what I mean? That in itself is a mindset. You know.
He did very little consumerism, this guy. He did very little. He would get his food, and they would have to come from certain sources, and that would be it, and it was to do with his religion. And he didn't go out to buy, you know, all the shit, just for the sake of buying stuff. And it was the same with the guy Muhammad. He was, you know, they didn't buy a lot of stuff, just what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were self-sufficient, that would help. And the more people become self-sufficient, I know it's difficult and there's hurdles, etc., but if we became that, and it grew, it would hurt them. It would hurt them. But then Agenda 21's rolling down the road, and that is to defeat that shit, you know.
Were you in the chat the other night, James, when James Cox was talking about Todmorden?
Yes, aye.
Yeah.
The place in England, Yorkshire.
Yeah. And what they're doing in Todmorden is it any council land that's got a bed, they're just planting vegetables.
Yeah, all over it.
He said you can, if you Google it, it comes up, and basically they become self-sufficient.
Yeah, well, Christiana and I think I'm saying it right, in Denmark, in the middle of Copenhagen, they bought prime land there. It was an old army base, and at that time it wasn't prime, but it is prime land now. And it's, you know, they're a free town. We talked about this before, Linda, and this, and then there's somewhere else in Barcelona, and there's the Bluetooth system as well in South Africa. Is popping out places as well, and that's to do with contributionalism. Sorry?
There's Barton.
Well, no, the Bluetooth system is contributionalism, meaning if you can contribute 20 hours a week to whatever you do, see you're a nurse, you're a scaffolder, you're a plumber, whatever, 20 hours a week, you get your food, you get your energy, everything that you need to survive.
It's the same thing as Barton, but
I'd go and scaffold.
Your Barton gets
well, you are
gain skills.
but it's not a bad system.
Bastard do.
Oh, it's a great idea. I mean, and it's well, what makes self-sufficiency and off the grid so bad to the powers that be? It's decentralization, and decentralization leaves more wealth in the hands of the people and less for all these big greedy companies and bankers.
Yeah.
So we need to decentralize in any shape, way, or form possible, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 9/11 is Patriot Act Day. Whatever the hell that means.
That's like,
I mean, come on.
Celebrate 9/11.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy 64.
Celebrate your
Him in
imprisonment.
the chat. He won't come in, though.
What was that?
The Patriot Act thing. Celebrate your imprisonment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, celebrate your imprisonment. That's it. Yeah. Go ahead, celebrate it. Because before 9/11, well, really, you think about it, 9/11 was the tilting point of where we got more into the police state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to organize a protest. I want everybody to pull their pants down and stick their ass cheeks up to their windows.
Okay then.
Okay. Right now.
Well, right now.
Right now.
Go ahead. Oh, no, that one day.
Noon straight up.
Went that one day.
That way the
It's
news.
all right. It's all right. Am I in now? Am I a member? Am I a member?
You're a
Am I in
member.
now?
You
Am I
did
a
it.
member?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah, the freaking ass Patriot Act Day protest.
So what do we do now that's I've done that? Come on, everybody.
Yeah,
Somebody
Anna.
else has done it. I'm sure.
Listen.
Oh, okay. There we go. Well, I know Truth Seeker would love Anna to do it for sure, but I'm not.
Yeah, it was worth a try, Rick. It was worth a try.
Anna, you get more compliments on here. It is so lovely, though.
Oh my God.
Our beautiful sister gets all the comments, and it's like, I like
She's got that red wallpaper behind her.
No.
Oh,
She's a beautiful soul, though. That's the thing. She radiates love, and not the way you guys are thinking.
Yes.
Truth seeker, I'm kind of, throwing that one at him.
Yeah.
She is a beautiful sister. And do you have anything to say, Anna, after we've embarrassed you?
Yeah. I'm glowing, I can feel it.
Yeah, see?
In a bad way.
Say no more, that's awkward. I can see the awkwardness coming out.
Okay. No, I think, Truth Seeker is ready to move to Ireland. So,
You do blush well.
Yes.
Shut up. Seriously. Thank you.
What are those noises?
I think the story's just grinning, just going, and that.
I was wondering, okay, okay. So, never mind.
Yeah, conscious and spirituality we were supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
we get the after chats are really fun. There's no whole bars there.
Anybody else saying? I did ask the mice question.
Oh.
If you remember, I asked why.
Okay.
I always look for mice in graveyards, and it was from John Messens, from our Meesons. Anyway, I don't know what the answer is, but he's given me a link. So I'll share the link in the external chat.
Dean Yates says we should do premonition and deja vu would be a good subject to cover.
Yeah, we have touched on that. We have touched on that before.
Yeah.
Ooh, deja vu.
Yeah, we have touched on that, and maybe, you know, we could devote one to that. Terry Cookie Monster said, Alexander the Great found the philosopher looking attentively at a pile of human bones. Diogenes explained, I hope I'm saying this right because you guys are much smarter than me. I am searching for the bones of your father, but cannot distinguish them from those of a slave. Oh, see, all bones are the same. Very good. That was very good. Dean Yates says they can triangulate any mobile phones from up to 3, I don't know.
3 meters.
Yeah, is that it? 3 meters? All the new, I need my glasses on, and I got to go get them. All the new mobile Android know exactly where you are due to the built-in GPS. Not me, but this thing does. Beautiful computer. They steal the body at birth with a shot too. Someone said that is very true. They do. They inject our babies right off the bat.
Oh, it's just, I mean, when you think about the many vaccines that kids get from the age they're born to the age they're 5, say, just for a cut-off point, it's absolutely mental. Their immune system, I mean, it doesn't mature until you're, I'm not sure what the age of maturity of the immune system. It's probably when you mature as a guy or a girl, you know, 21 for a guy, I think it is. But it's incredible. That's one thing I was totally against, even as a nurse, and it didn't sit very well with me. But there were a few of us doctors included. You don't bombard kids. You got to let their immune systems build up.
Mm.
Hey, you guys! I know that we're only supposed to have a 2-hour chat, but before we started this chat, we were talking about the beheading, and you had left links, and I think that we ought to throw out those links. That who is funding them? You know, I mean, people.
Yeah, the links.
Rick, would you like to just say something about that, because you went down the rabbit hole?
Well, the last, you got the James Foley one, okay? He belonged to, I think it's right, the Global, is it the Global News Network or something like that? The links I haven't got in front of me at the moment. But the last one, by Stephen Sotloff. Now, Stephen Sotloff is an Israeli. He didn't put that information out beforehand because they were feared for his life. But now this video of Stephen Sotloff was put up prior to when ISIS wanted to put it up. ISIS have got its own forums and they keep getting shut down and stuff like that. Now, I thought, well, that's a bit strange. What's going on here? On the right-hand side of the Stephen Sotloff beheading, if you look at it, if you want to look at the video, it's got on the right-hand, it's got left-hand side, it's got the ISIS flag. On the right-hand side, it's got SITE and a circle, and above the S is a little red marker. And SITE, and I thought, well, who are SITE? You know, to put, you know, they obviously put this as they were uploading the video. And SITE, if you is the executive, or they're actually an intelligence group from Israel. They're Mossad, basically. Rita Katz. You look up Rita Katz, you go down the rabbit hole with her. It's been proven she works for Mossad. It's called Site Monitoring Service Enterprise. I'll put all the links in. It'll take me a few minutes because it's got loads of them.
I put Site already in.
You're right. Okay. There's a guy called Bruce Hoffman. I would look at him. Look at Professor Bruce Hoffman. he was studying, or he got the shit from the Edmund A. Walsh School of Foreign Service. Now, Edmund A. Walsh was a Jesuit, and he started this School of Foreign Services in Washington. So, in a nutshell, I mean, I'll leave the links, as I say. In a nutshell, these guys, Site, S-I-T-E, put this video out, okay, and it's Israeli, and it's Mossad. I've spent a lot of time on this, and there's other people coming up with it as well. So now we've got, why did they put it up? Are they behind it? Obviously they are. And it's a Zionist, it goes back to the Zionist thing against the Islamic State. Islam's at the top of their ladder at the moment, obviously. And there's a lot
So no surprises then?
No surprises. But if you do get, you know, evidence as such, and that who's behind it. It's there for all to see. You just got to keep looking. It'll take you hours to go through all the links and stuff and read, and then it'll take you into other. Well, what I did, I went from this beheading of Stephen Sotliff to Site to the Council of Foreign Relations and back again. So it's all interlinked, and you know, a lot of us know that it's all been portrayed by the powers to be, or done by them.
Yeah.
So, but again, you know, the other thing I would urge people to look at Leo Strauss ideology. That's where the neocons come from. They learned the shit from Leo Strauss in the 50s, and especially in the Bush era, you had lots of Leo Strauss's ideology students there. Wolfowitz was one. The wee guy with the glasses, what's his name? Not James Owen, but Rumsfeld, he was another. But on the other side of the coin, you had a doctor in Egypt, and he studied with these guys in America in the 1950s, and he took the Leo Strauss ideology back to Egypt, and what did he come up with? The Brotherhood. Right? And these guys, that guy was eventually killed. They tried to topple the Western power in Egypt, and they put in their own ideology of Leo Strauss into the Muslim or Islamic faith, and it came out by extremism. And that's where it came from, back in the 50s. And if you look at that, Leo Strauss, look at that. I forget the guy's name. I'll put the links in as well. Later. But it's all interconnected. And it is
what is the Essenes?
Sorry?
What is the Essenes? Is that how you say it? Am I saying this wrong?
Yeah, that's right.
I was? Wow.
That was supposedly the group that Jesus come from.
Right.
Ah. Were they Jews?
Yeah.
So he was a Jew, and they martyred. Well, they killed their own conspiracy theorists because he didn't like usury, right?
You can't say that, Linda.
I don't know whether that would consider that a very accurate article, but there's, you know.
You can't say that, Linda.
What's that?
Why?
You can't say they killed their own Messiah. You can't say
Well,
that.
you know something, there's a guy...
Oh, no, that's not all how it went.
Conspiracy theorists, because he was against the usury.
Could Jesus have been a pagan? Could Jesus...
Yeah.
Could Jesus have been a pagan?
I always thought it was Jesus of Palestine. I thought it was Palestinian.
The trouble is, there were so many people called Jesus at that time, you know, to get...
That was a popular name.
It was a popular name. Yeah.
Okay. So Jesus or Jesus was a very popular name,
But
and
if you noticed, sorry, Linda, I'm talking over you. If you noticed that they've trimmed the name from ISIS to IS.
yeah.
ISIL now. ISIL.
No, they're having an identity crisis.
Yes.
Isn't there a company called ISIS though?
But if you look at the videos, I mean, you know, I've got a number of questions. Instead of saying, yeah, it's totally false. Well, a number of ones. When did extremists bother about HD quality? When did they ever bother with audio quality, i.e. putting a mic, as if you were speaking to a BBC reporter, putting a mic clipped onto your orange jumpsuit and then having to take it off to cut the head off? The wind doesn't. There's something about the wind. Their nicely pressed clothing is wavering in the wind, and there's vegetation beside it. It's not wavering at all.
No joke.
And then if you look at the history of Scotch screen, it's now called green screen, I think it is. You look at the lines, that is definitely green screen. And the whole thing stinks. Unfortunately, I have seen, and it's been my choice, I've seen beheadings and stuff, and I've seen beheadings from ISIS, and I've compared the two, and to me, these are false. I mean, the ISIS beheadings are cheap, or, you know, it doesn't matter, they could record it from a potato. It doesn't matter what they use. And as long as you see the brutality, and it's absolutely brutal. This is for 10-year-olds. It's not, and it's produced.
Even a 10-year-old would fight it. I mean, come on.
A 15-year-old debunked it there, the James Foley one, and he's on YouTube. You can see his video. A 15-year-old debunked it. But the thing is to remember that, you know, look at the logos on the screen. They always like to put their little logos on the screen. I own this video. SITE. You look into them, and it's from Israel. And that should tell you all.
It's only to keep the public in fear, that's all it is anyway.
Yeah.
People see it and they go, oh my God, oh no.
But you know, I believe that these guys are dead. Or I think that these guys are dead. I can't see, you know, where are they if they're not dead, or if they've not been, you know, beheaded.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they've already been dead. They've been dead for a while. Their families have been notified, so therefore you're not going to get the sincere grief that you would get. You know, if I was told my brother just had his head chopped off and you could see it on the internet, I'd be going off my fucking brain. And but these people are too calm. I'm sorry, being a nurse for so many years, you see people's reactions, and it doesn't matter if you're a nurse or not. You see people's reactions throughout life experience.
You know when grief is real.
Yeah, and that just seems to me as if they had known already these guys had died, and like the last one was the mother of Stephen Sutcliffe. And my condolences go out to these people. You know, I don't want to see anybody hurt and what have you. And we are talking about people after all. But the mother that was talking, she seemed heavily sedated. The other ones were the James Foley, the brother and sister. It's very strange, the interview. And I know people can react different ways. I've seen people almost smile when they've been told that their loved ones have died suddenly, and it's just a reaction. Some people cry. It's human have different reactions, and I've seen talks about people saying that when you're going to get executed, do you think you would put up a fight? Well, I'm sorry, I've seen lots of them, right, and hardly any of them put up a fight, and that's just it, the way it is. Body goes into shock, whatever, fight or flight. That doesn't happen, and I've seen it, not just with the Islamic terrorists, but the likes of the cartels as well. And it's almost like, why don't you get up and try and run away? And they don't, you know. So you got to take that.
I wouldn't just done there.
Well, I think, you know, I don't know what the hell I would do, but it's one of these moments that you can't. I remember seeing a lassie, and any time she was in school with me, and any time she got, you know, somebody backed her into a corner and was fierce with her, she would laugh. That was a reaction. It was a nervous laugh. And it was weird to see, but people react in different ways. And I've seen many of these executions, and people don't move. They don't fight at all until they put the hand on the person. When they put the hand on the person, the knife, you know, up to the throat, then they start to struggle a wee bit. But this one, he can't, at least you can see, and with the James Foley one and with the Stephen Sutcliffe one, you can see the guy in slow motion at least 10 times with the knife against the neck, and there's no blood. I'm sorry, one stroke will cause blood. It's a very sensitive area.
And your jugular's right there. Look.
Well, you've got your jugglers to either side, yeah. Yeah, it would bleed. And it's Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah. Go crap. I believe it is anyway.
I'm going to have to say goodnight to everyone because I've got to be up at 6, so I'll see you all soon.
Alright, good night, Tony.
Take it easy. Have a good one.
You too, brother.
Peace and keep smiling, everybody.
You too, Tony.
See you later, Linda. See you later, love.
Bye. Thank you for coming on, sweetie.
And you, love. Take it easy. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm just going to go see what's all going on here because I had to take a phone call and see what's going on in the chat. We had Classically Revamped join us. Truth Seeker's still on here. Some people love the accents, and I'm glad because we're trying to make this a worldwide thing. We love everybody. Harry Cookie Monster says, stick your ass out the window and yell, I'm not going to take it anymore. Good idea. Fearless till the end can save you. We cannot die. I've been there, and that's wannabe. Oh, my Matt, my bass slick Matt. He says, hello all. He's awesome, and he said it's a great live chat. Thank you very much. War Prophet, hi all, just tuned in. We'll catch this on the flip. When we accept the existence that our flesh and blood and bodies are carrying precious cargo inside our soul, that is when total awareness comes to light, in my humble opinion. Very good, because we're all conscious and we're energy. Didn't the real Jews come from Ethiopia? They stole all the symbols. Christ, crystal. We are all aliens. That's wannabe. Okay. I have got
that link that I put in there, the Essene link on the outside.
I will. I gotta make sure I get the right one because you put up another link that was funny. Okay. I will post this on the external. And this is where Jesus came from, right?
Yeah, that's the group that he was reputed to come from, you know.
Okay. Okay. This is come on. I'll say this right. So guys, anything else we need to cover?
That's about it.
No.
No?
I want Anna to say something.
Come on, Anna. Come on, Anna.
I'm getting tired.
You said no.
Come on, Anna.
You said no. Then recovered, you went no. So come on.
No. I'm tired now.
You're tired.
Well, what we've done, we will have to set this up where this works for everybody.
I mean, this kind of chat could go on forever, couldn't it? The consciousness, and then you sort of delve in. There's things we haven't even touched on, like, well, we have done them, you know. You just see the pre-chat, you can see other topics that fit into this that you know we haven't touched on.
We need to touch on some of those one chat on the stuff that we talk about that we don't know if, you know, well, we might get booed down, but maybe we ought to touch on those one day. Not today, because I'm going to end this here in a minute, so, because I can see Anna's tired. And we're going to do this at a time where it's good for Americans and it's good for Europeans, because, you know, it does get late and stuff, you know, so we have to do this kind of...
It's 1 o'clock here.
Oh, well, we need to post this.
I'm grand up to about midnight, and then I start flagging badly.
Okay. I will leave everyone who was on this chat link below when I get time, and that goes for Anthony Meehan, James Owens, Richard McLean or Rick Mack, Dystopian Empire, Anna Wallace,
Anna,
will be nice.
you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I leave everybody's links. Please go sub these lovely people.
You got to
we
say
will have
goodnight
another
to
chat.
Anna, you've got to say goodnight to Truth Seeker.
Okay, Truth Seeker. No, no.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming and listening to us and for your participation, because, like I said, we learn from you, and believe it or not, we'll go over your links, any links left. Dean, thanks a whole bunch for leaving links, and maybe we should get you in on a chat and do something because you wanted to do the deja vu and stuff. We did touch on that once, and we could go through that really big time because we have a lot of stuff on that. Thanks, everybody, for coming and watching, because we love you all, and we all need to connect. We are all connected, and we love you. Anybody else got anything to say?
No, it's been great.
No, it's been good. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody. Truth Seeker. I say bye-bye to Anna.
Yes. Bye, Truth Seeker. And bye, Tommy Stock. Who I'm trying to get him on a chat too, and I would like to get Human, I say it wrong, but he does these great videos on here one time too. I know he works, and he's the most gentlest spirit you could ever come across.
Who's this, Linda? Sorry, who's this?
Let me go. I'm going to say his name right because I call him something else. I gave him an Indian name. He just doesn't know it. His name is Human Rights to You, and I would like to get him on a chat sometime also. He's just a nice, kind spirit, and that's what we want, is, you know, the ones that want to unite, that are open-minded.
There's somebody that comes to our chats a lot, and it's called, he's called Bass Flick.
Matt! Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I would love him on.
Bass Vic Matt.
Bass Vic.
Everybody gets
the name wrong.
Bass Vic.
Aye.
His name is Bass Flick. It's for the bass flick, you know, when you play the guitar.
Right, that's the flick, yeah.
Okay. His name, yeah, Matt the Bass Man is what I call him. And, yeah, he should come on, too. He's a sweetie. What do y'all think? So, and I'm going to bring the True Ray Sun on.
I usually eat them.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to get off here now. We love you all. And, yes, as soon as I can hook up with the True Ray, I'm going to have her son, Obi, on. And he's going to talk about word spells and word magic in the English language and how it's been changed. Yeah. And we have a few people in mind to get on, and I think that I'll talk to I know they're homeschooling and stuff, so I'll find a time that's good for everybody to have him on.
That'd be good. You've been talking about this for a while, and you'll need to do it because it sounds very interesting. And
you'll need to bring Law's dictionary.
Well, I'm going to need all you guys on because your English language, you guys had a language before English, and you know that it's been changed. I mean,
Totally.
The Scottish, yeah.
Well, we've got the Scots and we've got the Gaelic, and yeah, we've got different dialect. The Scots and that's more dialect, but we have the Gaelic
and they really ruined. I mean, the English language, I still to this day say is a slave language, but that's for another topic. So we'll do that then.
It's magic.
It's magic, yeah, a very wicked magic.
Naughty.
And okay, for Anna, we're keeping her awake. We love you all. I'm going to close this out.
Good day.
Bye, everyone.